Hey guys, this is Mike again. We're back with part three of our terminology video. Real quick, um, I know I say a lot, I stutter. I'm just getting into the rhythm of this. I haven't really ever done any kind of videos before, and I know I keep looking up here, and you're probably wondering why I do that. Well, that's my computer monitor. I see myself on it. I'm used to looking up there more than looking down here at the camera. So if I keep looking up there throughout these videos, sorry. Might just have to get used to it because force of habit. Now, today we're going to cover our last couple of generic terms that we have, basically in regards to our juice. Now, you might notice it's a little bit brighter. I had to turn my light on. It's actually getting dark outside. I filmed these three videos in succession all at one time, but from the time of the first video to now, it's gotten kind of dark outside. So our last terms are dealing with juice. One of our first terms we're going to talk about is the milligram and the milliliter. Now these can be confusing, but milliliter basically refers to the amount. This is a 3 milliliter bottle. It's about halfway empty, which probably means there's about 1.5 milliliters of juice in here. Think of it like a liter of Coke, a 3-liter Coke. It's the liter part tells you how much you have. This is also an 18 milligram menthol. So 18 milligrams. The milligram basically means how much nicotine is in this juice. Now, 18 milligrams may sound like a lot, but what it really means, and the easiest way to determine your percentage of nicotine is to take the number of milligrams. If it's a double digit, put a decimal point right in the center of the two numbers. So 18 milligrams would be 1.8%. It's really not that much when you think about it. Most vendors will sell juice in milligram strengths of anywhere from roughly 10 to 12 as their lowest and about 36 as their highest. Personally, I wouldn't recommend vaping anything higher than 36. 36 is the equivalent probably of like 2 Marlboro Reds at one time, and it's a throat slayer. It will make that raw. This is an 18. I used to smoke lights. I don't really know that 18 milligrams is considered light in the vaping world, or if it's a medium. It seems to be what I like. It gives me a good throat hit, which brings us to our next term, throat hit. Throat hit is that feeling you get in the back of your throat. Well, the back of your throat, I guess. Whenever you take a drag off a cigarette, you feel it hit your throat. You feel it kind of burn a little bit, I guess. Not in a bad way, but you definitely feel something there. And then you bring it down into your lungs. And that would be a lung hit. Not a lot of juice or vaporizers are going to give you much of a lung hit, that full feeling in your lungs, but they will give you a throat hit. A couple of things can factor into that throat hit. It could be the milligram amount in your juice. Higher nicotines typically tend to give a higher throat hit, and then flavor gives a throat hit. So menthol actually gives a good throat hit. This is kind of light on the menthol at the moment. That's why it's 18 milligrams. If I do a 12 milligram, I actually add a little extra menthol because I can still get that good throat hit without actually getting a high dosage. So like on the weekends when I know I'm going to be vaping a lot and I don't want to necessarily have a nicotine overdose, I guess you could say, or get a nicotine rush, I go with more like a 12 milligram with extra menthol. So it's a lower dosage than what I normally smoke or normally vape, but I'm able to vape more of it and get the same equivalent. So we've covered throat hit, we've covered lung hit. We got milligrams is how strong of nicotine. Milliliters is how much you get. Real quick, standard suppliers usually sell in 3 unit sizes, and that would be a 3 ml bottle, a 15 ml bottle, or excuse me, a 3 ml bottle, a 10 ml bottle, and a 30 ml bottle. 30 ml being the big boy, and some will have 15 ml bottles. The next term for actual juice-related materials is PG or VG. PG stands for propylene glycol. It's the material that's used in a lot of fog machines. It produces essentially vapor. It's safe. It's approved by the FDA for human consumption. So otherwise, you get sick if someone used a fog machine in a nightclub. People would be dying left and right. VG is vegetable glycerin. Vegetable glycerin you can get at Walmart. It's not that big a deal. You can also order VG and PG off the internet. And I got these. It's a pretty good size. I'm not even exactly sure how much that is. I think it's like about 120 milliliters. I got that for $4.50. Both of them for $4.50 plus shipping, obviously. And I got them from DIY, no, onestopdiyshop.com or something like that. I got it bookmarked on my computer. We'll throw a link in on a later video. However, this stuff, this is just blank pure VG right here, and this is blank PG. Now, any nicotine you get, any juice you buy, any juice you make is going to have PG or VG. Some people have allergic reactions to PG. Some just are sensitive to it. It can hurt their throat. It can make their throats raw, make them go hoarse. If you have a certain type of allergy to it, it could give you diarrhea. So for those people, VG is the way to go. Now, they both have some unique properties, I guess you could say. VG is really thick, really, really thick. PG is good for flavor transfer. With this stuff, you get a good, flavorful vape. It does not produce a ton of vapor. I mean, don't get me wrong, this stuff will produce good vapor. What you saw me vape earlier today, that was all PG based. VG is a lot thicker, like I said, and it produces a much stronger vapor, but not necessarily a good flavor transfer. So you have to kind of debate whether you want good flavor or good vapor. Now, at the same time, some websites, when you buy pre-made juice from them, they will let you choose your PG to VG ratio. I think about the average seems to be roughly 80% PG, or propylene glycol, 20% VG, or vegetable glycerin, which produces a good flavor transfer and a good amount of vapor, whenever you're actually vaping. So that's a good thing. So you can also buy this stuff and use it to extend the life of your juice. For instance, this here, if you notice, this bottle is not labeled, and the reason for that is because I actually bought a 24 milligram menthol solution, or 24 milligram menthol juice, and then I just used some standard PG and cut that menthol down to 18 milligrams. So it's essentially extending the life of that 30 ml bottle of 24 milligram that I bought by kind of diluting it a little bit. Just saves time, and that's what these are good for. Also, these are good for if you want to do our next term, which is DIY. Anyone who's ever seen the DIY channel knows what DIY means, and that's do it yourself. You can create your own juice. You can do it yourself when it comes to juice making. But in order to do that, you're going to need a couple other things. Not only are you going to need your PG and your VG, you're going to need some flavoring, and this is cinnamon flavor from the Perfumer's Apprentice. I actually got this in today. I haven't even tried it yet. I just needed one for this video, so I grabbed it. So you're going to need some flavoring, otherwise your vapor's not going to have any flavoring. And then you're going to need some actual nicotine juice. This I got from myfreedomsmokes.com. It is a 60 milligram or 6% nicotine solution, 60 milliliters of it as well. Now, because it's 60 milligrams, I can make, if I cut it down to 18 milligrams, I can make a ton of juice. I mean, this bottle here, if you notice, I mean, it's pretty freaking full. It's up to there. This bottle will probably last me 3-4 months, and which means I will not have to really buy any juice for a while. Although I'll probably still will end up buying some just to try out flavors, but I don't have to. Is the point. Whenever you're actually mixing your own juices, you're going to be using little things like these. These are called pipettes, or pipettes, I've heard them called. Basically, it's a plastic syringe. I mean, the whole thing is plastic and flexible and bendy. It's got a little bulb at the top here, and when you squeeze it, stick it in your juice and let go, it's going to suck the juice up there. This is a 1 milliliter pipette. It's hard for me to see these little numbers here without glasses on. But you'd suck it up, and then you'd grab your bottle and you shoot it into that bottle. And then finally, one of your most versatile little devices that you're going to have, whether you're refilling cartomizers, refilling carts, excuse me, because you can take that filler material out of carts, and I don't even know where it went. Here, just you could actually pull that material out and replace it with blank material, flue wall that you can buy from Walmart, or blue foam, which you can get from the pet section of Walmart. It's just basically blue aquarium filter foam. But no matter what you're going to be doing with all these things, you're probably going to need one of these. Now this device right here is just basically a hook tool that I got from Walmart. It actually came in a 4-pack. And I don't mean you need a hook tool. What I mean is you need something that has a hook, a little point, a little good point, but is also sturdy, because you're going to be sticking things in and popping them out and prying. You can use a paper clip for a lot of things, but if you try to get into these Ego cartomizers, there's a hole. See if we can get that right in the top. You can barely see it, that little mouth hole. Basically, you're going to need something sturdy so that you can stick it in there and then pop it out, just like that. If you're trying to use a paper clip, every time you bend, it's just going to bend. It's not even going to come close to actually popping that sucker out. So I got this at Walmart, like I said, a 4-pack, different shapes to the hooks. This one's a 90-degree hook. I got one in the pack that was like a Captain hook. I got one that was a weird 45-degree angle in different directions, and one that's just solid straight. And I got that whole pack at Walmart for $4. So I knew I'd need them. Went in and got them. This looks to be the longest video yet, but thankfully we have covered pretty much every term. Oh, one term we haven't covered that we'll cover in a later date is called a pass-through. And basically all a pass-through is, which I don't have one on me at the moment, is a battery, but instead of this end being your little light up, it's going to be a cord running from it that you would plug into a USB port on your computer, and you can vape your computer, because the computer will power that battery because it's got the cord on it, and you just vape straight away. There will of course be no light. But that's pretty much every basic term. We'll get into some more in-depth terms later once we actually start reviewing, or not reviewing, but going over hardware and the differences in hardwares, and then of course get into some reviews. You'll start learning some of the more advanced terms, but for now you got your basics covered. So I think we're done here. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Put my email down there in the bottom in the link section, along with a few other links. If you have any questions, check them out. And until next time, when we actually start reviewing, or again, not reviewing, but going over the different devices themselves, please check out the National Vapers Club and support your right to vape. Thank you.